roots absorb water from the soil and water is lost from the leaves through transpiration. So this water has to move up from the roots to the leaves, which is called the transport of water. Now, how is water transported? We'll see very shortly. When you suck a drink through a straw, the fluid moves from the glass to your mouth. Now, similarly, transpiration causes a suction force which causes the upward movement of water from the soil. So see, when transpiration takes place in the leaves, the cells of the leaf become shriveled and shrinked because of the loss of water from it. So this pipe-like structure brings in the water from the roots to the leaves. So water is given out to the leaf cells, and so the leaf cells become replenished and it becomes swollen from its wrinkled condition. This pipe-like structure that brings in the water from the roots to the leaves is known as xylem. Now, let us prove it with an experiment that xylem is the pipe that brings in the water from the root to the leaves. For that, keep a rooted plant in colored water for a few hours. So the roots will absorb this colored water. Now, after some time, cut this plant and observe the cross section under the microscope. You will see only these tissues have taken up the color of the coloring water. But these tissues have not taken up the color, thus proving that only these tissues, which are the xylem tissues, facilitate the uptake of water from the roots to the leaves. So how does this water move up the xylem? If you drop drops of water in only one spot, then see the water molecules bind with each other and they do not flow out. This water-to-water attraction is known as cohesion. Now look at this interesting video. When this man is bringing the plate towards the water flow, then see the water is getting attracted towards the plate. So this solid to water attraction is known as adhesion. See, even in the xylem, there is water to water cohesion. See, this is one water molecule. And this is the next water molecule. And these are attracted to one another. Now look at this water molecule which is attracted to the walls of the xylem. So this is adhesion. That is solid to liquid attraction. So cohesion and adhesion happens in the xylem. In the xylem, the attraction between the upward water molecule with the lower water molecule is known as cohesion, and the attraction between the xylem surface and the water molecule is known as adhesion. Now, this upward movement of the water is known as ascent of sap, where sap means water plus minerals. Now, how does the water reach the xylem? Water moves from the outer cell into the inner cell through osmosis. This outer cell has high concentration of water with respect to the adjoining cell that has less water. So osmosis will take place from this cell to the adjoining cell, and finally it will reach up to the xylem. Now look at this cell. This cell has swollen up because of the high concentration of water. Just like when you blow in a lot of air molecules into the balloon becomes stretched and swollen. This condition is known as the turgid condition. But look at this cell. This cell has a lesser concentration of water with respect to this cell, and it can be compared to a balloon which you have just started to blow. This condition is known as the flaccid condition. Now, how does the water move from the turgid cell to the flaccid cell? We'll see. So how does the water move during osmosis? Well, take a tube of sucrose solution and place it in a water-filled beaker. So osmosis will take place from this water-filled beaker to this sucrose solution. Now apply a pressure on the piston to stop the osmosis from taking place. But it did not stop, as the pressure at which osmosis takes place is greater than your applied pressure. Now apply more and more pressure against osmosis, and at a certain minimum amount of applied pressure, the osmosis stops to take place. This applied pressure is the same as that exerted by the water in the beaker for osmosis to take place. Thus, this pressure is termed as osmotic pressure. Now, as the amount of water in the soil is greater than the root cells, it enters the root cells due to the osmotic pressure. As the root cells take the water from the soil, they become enlarged or turgid due to water pressure. Now, from these turgid cells, water moves to the next cells which were flaccid till now due to osmotic pressure. This osmotic pressure is also known as turgor pressure. Because of this turgor pressure, water rises from the roots to the stem, and thus this pressure in the roots is also known as root pressure. Hence, if you cut the stem, cell sap oozes out. So this oozing out of the cell sap can be compared to a fountain where pressurized water move upwards. This upward movement of the sap can take place at a rate of 8 meters per hour and can reach up to a maximum height of 100 meters. Now, if you injure a plant, that is, if you cut its stem from midway, then you will see that a water-like fluid oozes out. This is nothing but the root pressure. Because of the root pressure, the sap oozes out. And this process is known as bleeding. So when you injure a plant and you see water coming out, the process is known as bleeding.